Thank you, Carol. More Zoom stuff. Oh, gosh. Here we are trying to do everything. All right. Thank you, Carol. Sorry. So for the benefit of the recording, I apologize. We had a call to order, a roll call. We had no seating of the alternates. We approved the special meeting agenda. We approved the minutes of April 28th. There are 3 edits to the May 6, 2020 minutes. Okay. It's going to involve Nancy Moran, her participation. She joined late. She was an alternate. It'll be noted as such. The vote for jurisdiction on the second complaint was 4-1, not unanimous. I will add the names. And then the third edit will be the following members. Let's see, it'll be that Karen Buckley was told she was not eligible to sit for the complaint. Okay. So, I have a question in my mind whether, I should really even be saying a motion to accept minutes that they're going to be revised with those 3 edits. I am unclear whether I should have a motion to accept the minutes with those 3 edits in them. So maybe for safety's sake, I do that. And then I'll send out an email to the commission members, in the next couple of days, and we'll get approval of the minutes. And I will notice, we'll notice such in the minutes that they were approved. Not sure how to do it after the fact. I'll admit it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
For me.
All
Can I
right.
also just note for the record, as Dr. Good pointed out, I am listed as Julie up here, but I'm actually Nikki Maletta.
All right. Julie, Nikki Maletta, commission member, right. Thank you.
Marv, I think we should try to come up with, because we've had this, several complaints come in one after another, and we were always trying to keep, some semblance of confidentiality. And I don't know if, the names of the parties are supposed to be public until a certain point.
No, I have checked that, and you mean the people who vote on the complaint, the commission?
Well, no, I just think that when we refer to the first complaint, the second complaint, the one that was before that one, and it's a little bit confusing to know, well, which of these cases are we actually referring to? Because there have been 4 that
I'll
came.
put okay, I'll put dates, okay? I'll put dates on the complaints. Right, the dates that they were received at the town hall, okay?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
comment. Thank
with
you.
some of the earlier complaints, we gave back all the papers that had the names of and the actual topics of the complaints.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that for complaints that we don't accept, whether there's any way for me to remember which complaint came in on April this or, March that. So it's just a difficulty that that there were different complaints that made, that were on different topics. And I think it can get confusing when we look back and try to make sure that we're all talking about the same complaint. So I don't have an answer. I just want to bring it up that we may want to have some way to make sure that we're all talking about,
Yeah.
the same.
I don't think, to answer you, I will give my opinion that I don't think because there was a complaint already in process versus a new complaint, I don't think anybody was confused about that. But in the minutes, the way it was presented was confusing. So I'll acknowledge that. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about for my, for my keeping things straight. So I just think that we should have some kind of naming convention so that in the course of a year, if we ever refer back to one of these complaints, we all make sure that we
Right.
understand which one we're talking about.
No, good recommendation. So dates that they were received will be noted. Okay. All right. So, so again, I'm confused, should I make a motion to accept the May 6 minutes with those edits in them? Or should,
That, we have done that when I used to be on the Board of Finance. We did make a motion to accept minutes as edited.
okay. So motion to accept minutes as edited with the 4 edits now that I'm going to put in them and pass around to everybody. Motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Janet seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right. Item number 5, discussion of Durham Ethics Commission matters. Does anybody on the commission have any commission matters that we will not talk about in old and new business, which is coming? Anything? Okay. Let's move on to old business. I have one from old business, and going back to the end of April minutes, there was a process improvement brought forward by then commission member Brenda Cowett as far as consistency between the complaint form and the code of ethics regarding the gathering of sufficient evidence. So the minutes at the end of April spoke about me taking an action item, working with the town to try and get the code of ethics and the complaint form more consistent. So that's still an open item, okay? So I'll still take that, but things have been a little hectic in other areas, so have yet to work on that. I have another item of old business, which everybody's sick of hearing, but I once again have to ask about a volunteer for secretary. That would remind me maybe that I'm not recording the meeting and that the minutes are incorrect or things like that, and collaborate and work together. Is there anybody that would like to volunteer to do that? It's about an hour a month, if that. No takers? Karen is on mute now. I don't know why. Karen, did you mute yourself?
I am muting myself because I'm not the only one home. So
Okay. All right.
I'm only unmuting when I'm talking.
All right, just want to make sure.
I appreciate it though.
Okay, anybody else have any old business? All right, and new business. Oh, I want to jump back to old business. I did raise to Laura Francis the fact that we don't have a secretary. Her response was that we could possibly hire a secretary. Now, I don't know if I consider that a feasible solution because that person would not be vested or be participatory in the meeting. So I don't know. I would find it personally as the chair a little uncomfortable dealing with a person that would be hired. Plus, the town would have to pay for it. And I just feel uncomfortable. Anybody have any comments about that?
I think that there have been other boards and commissions that have had a hired note taker, I think that it would be good if you could concentrate on running the meetings and let somebody else worry about taking proper minutes. And I think there are people who do this a lot for a lot of different boards and commissions, and would do a very good job. So I think you should consider taking Laura up on her offer. I know in medical practices, there's a lot of doctors who have scribes, and they follow around, and instead of the doctor sticking his head in the computer and never looking at the patient, they have a scribe who's taking it all down, and they can actually do their doctoring. So
All right.
I think that this has been a burden for you, and I think that Laura was offering a good, plausible solution.
All right.
I would agree.
Okay.
Last meeting when you weren't there, I was talking about trying, uh, of taking the position, but I don't have a reliable computer. And if you notice tonight, it took me almost 20 minutes to get online. Um, I can't do it from a phone. And I don't have a mechanism to be able to efficiently handle emails and such. And I don't expect me to get this situation squared away for a couple of months.
Okay.
So I would think, in at least my view, we're not going to use the secretary a lot. I think it would be a good idea to do it. And I see no downfall to that point.
All right. Anybody else? All right, I'll explore it further with Laura and we'll see where it goes. Okay? Is there any new business? No new business? Okay, so now I'm gonna unmute everybody because there is public and we're on to number 8, public comments. All participants are unmuted. Are there any anybody in the public that wants to make a comment?
I don't think you unmuted everybody.
I did unmute all.
Yeah, but everybody's
It
still
says
seems
all
to-
participants are unmuted.
then people are choosing to be muted.
Yeah, they must be choosing because my screen says all participants are unmuted. So I will, across the top, see if there's anybody that, anybody's picture that I can see. If you want to raise your hand, if you have a comment. Otherwise, okay, so there is no public comment. Okay, so we are at number 9. We are going to go into executive session. Motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Who was that, please?
Janet,
And Nicole.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to now have to figure out how to stop the video for all the public. I'm going to stop recording. Do you want to stop cloud recording? Yes.